Hey everyone, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project with you, and my special guest for this morning's proceedings, at least in UK time, is Noky Simbani, who is a Miss Universe GB finalist. Noky, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
It's a pleasure. I just realized we're wearing matching jackets. But
Oh
actually,
yeah.
we're
Even with
both
the black on
wearing
the
white.
inside.
Exactly.
This is
Okay, well,
hilarious. It wasn't
this
planned
is
by the way,
fortuitous.
everyone. I wish it
No, this
was.
is fortuitous. Look at that. Black hair, white jacket, and then black underneath, and then exactly the same. All right.
This is a sign of things to
Uh,
come. Hope you'll stay in sync with the interview.
Let's hope great minds think alike. Noky, for those who are unfamiliar with your pageant history, why don't we start there? So, how did you get involved in the crazy world of pageantry to begin with?
I love hearing people's pageant origin story. For me, I actually went to a fashion show in the UK that used to run on an annual basis called the Clothes Show Live. And it's like a huge fashion exhibition, you get amazing runway show. Me and my mum went one day, the first time we ever went, and I actually bumped into who would be my first ever pageant director, Holly. I think a
Mhm.
lot of people are very familiar with Holly. She's a very big name in the
Yeah.
pageant industry. Absolutely amazing woman. So I gave her my details. I forgot about it for months, and then she got in contact with me to say that I was a finalist in the Miss Teen Great Britain competition. And this was back in 2012, so 10 whole
Yeah.
years ago now. So this year's a very special year for me in terms of my pageant journey. So yeah, I did Miss Teen Great Britain and I finished in the top eight. And I absolutely loved the experience. And to be able to finish so high in my first ever pageant, it was such a huge motivator.
Mhm.
And then I found out about all her other systems and how you could go and travel abroad for an international final through her competitions. And I absolutely love travel. You might have seen my bio towards the end, and we can talk about it a bit later. But I was like, I absolutely need to get involved with this. I've got the pageant bug. I'll definitely be back. So I entered Miss Teen Galaxy, and I did that in, say, I think it was around 2015, 2014, 2015. You'll
Mhm.
find that I take very big breaks in my pageant career because
Okay.
I'm very academic, huge nerd growing up. So I was always very, very, very focused on my studies. And obviously, when you do a pageant, you want to put your absolute all into it. So I didn't want to kind of
Yeah.
have the two conflicting. So I did Galaxy after a couple of years. And I had a fantastic experience with that. I finished seventh in that competition. And then I thought, okay, so I'm finishing in good positions, but I'm not too sure if this is for me. But I'm enjoying it. So let's just see what comes in the future. So I dilly-dallied around for quite a while. And then my sister was like, you need to do a pageant this year. You have to. And this was in 2017, where
Mhm.
I entered the UK Power Pageant, which was crowning for three different competitions. And one of them was the Grand International Competition. And this is where I was fortunate enough to win my first ever national title of Miss Grand England. And then I went on to compete in the international finals in Vietnam for Miss Grand International, which was one of the best experiences of my entire life. And I think it's probably, yeah, definitely the highlight of my pageant experience. So
Mhm.
that was now 5 years ago, scarily enough. So I've done nothing pageant related for a whole 5 years. And I
Oh
actually,
well.
again, thought I was finished after Grand International, but evidently I'm not.
That's one hell of a story. When you were at Miss Grand 2017, and I can't believe it was 5 years ago, although I
Crazy.
think we've all lost 3 years of our life due to COVID. I know that you went on a ski trip with the girls. Just correct
I
me if I'm
did.
wrong. So when you went to Miss Grand 2017, that's where you met Chloe and Amy. Is that correct?
Yes. So Amy, I was crowned with at the UK Power Pageant, but Chloe, I wasn't. So Amy and I
Hmm.
were kind of chit chatting here and there, kind of polite conversation over the group chat for a couple of months. So I would say that I officially met her properly at Miss Grand International. And yes, we did go on a ski trip together just towards the end of last year, which goes to show that they've become friends for life for me. And that's definitely come about from the amazing time we had at Grand International.
Yeah, I was going to say. All right, so you've already identified that you took a 5 year break, which is a long
Yes,
break, and now you're
very long.
back. why couldn't you stay away? Not saying that you should have stayed away, but what, because as you already identified, and I'm sure we'll get into this, you are academic, your career focused, so it's not like you don't have any other demands on your time. And when you do a pageant, I'm sure you want to do it 110%. So what made you decide, okay, I'm willing to dedicate the time to it?
So I definitely think that COVID had a big part to play in this. I think a lot of people kind of realized during COVID that life's too short. If you want to go for something, you absolutely have to go for it. And university is something that I think for most pageant fans, it's kind of the ultimate pageant experience.
Yeah.
And it's really where we all want to be. And for a long time, I didn't think that was attainable for me. I think kind of my self-belief probably would have come around the time that I did Grand International, but I wasn't thinking then that I would go on to do anything else. I actually thought that was it for me. My ultimate goal was always to represent my country abroad, and I'd achieved that.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was it. But I think during COVID, I was like, do you know what? I've lost, like you said, about 2-3 years of my life. And I feel like when you enter a pageant, you go through so much personal development. And I felt like I'd lost so much personal development time. And I thought, how can I fast track that? I need to find myself a new project, get myself stuck into something that's really going to make me happy and make me feel like a better version of myself. So that's absolutely why I thought I have to enter universe and do it as soon as possible.
So give us an idea as to exactly how much you've put into this system. So obviously, it's Miss Universe. We're talking about, not to cast shade at any other systems, but it is the biggest. It's the name, let's call it the name brand in the pageant industry.
Absolutely.
Give us an idea as to just how much you've put into it, because I know pageant prep looks very different for different people.
This is absolutely the most that I've ever put into any pageant preparation. And that's not to disrespect anything I've done in the past, but I think, like I said, you go on a personal growth journey, and every year you kind of become a version of yourself that you never imagined you'd be. So I just have unlocked levels of preparation and thought that I never kind of unlocked in the past. So, for example, I've never had pageant training up until this year. So I always just trained myself off of research and just kind of using my own kind of pageant knowledge from experience. And that's not because I didn't respect coaches and trainers in the past. It's because I couldn't really afford it. I was a student up until now. I've literally always done pageants on an absolute budget. I made my own national costume for Grand International. Everything for me has always been on a budget. So for this year, of course, I'm very fortunate that I'm working full time. So I can afford to kind of go the extra mile. But I think even aside from the aspects of pageant prep that need money, I've just been so laser focused, and I've wanted to just put the absolute all that I can into this experience. So yeah, I think I've absolutely elevated my prep this year more so than I ever have done in the past. Actually, I'll even go so far as to say that I think I prepared more for this than I did for Grand International.
I guess that's the way you want it to be, though, isn't it? I mean, if you're going to keep competing, you want to keep putting in. You don't want to sort of just coast.
Absolutely.
I mean, I get the feeling that you're not the sort of person who just wants to coast it in. So let's get into boss bios. I know you wanted to talk about it. And this obviously must be a huge part of your advocacy. So tell the people watching, and guys, I can see a bunch of you watching. So if you have any questions for Noky, put them in the comments. But tell us about boss bios.
Yes. So Boss Bios is an online platform that I created off the back of kind of my experiences and my career journey. So I'll kind of rewind a little bit and tell you a bit about what I've done in the past career-wise. So I graduated with a master's degree in chemical engineering. So my university experience was obviously one where I was around a lot of males. Engineering is not a very male-dominated course or career path. So representation was just extremely low for someone like me. And not just as a woman, but as a Black woman in particular, representation is just very, very thin on the ground for female engineers, especially Black female engineers. So I experienced lack of representation from that perspective. And then moving forward into my career, I worked briefly as an engineer. And again, it was the same experience. In that field, I kind of had issues again from a perspective of race and gender, unfortunately, and had a few negative experiences, which I just thought this is absolutely not necessary. And in 2020, or even 5 or so years ago, It's something that we shouldn't be seeing in any industry, and especially in such a well-regarded industry as engineering. And then I went through kind of a career journey and decided to transition away from engineering. I kind of experienced a few kind of experiences in my old job as an engineer, which made me think that I wanted to delve into the world of finance. So I decided to become a commercial banker. And again, in this field, I'm surrounded by males all the time. So all through my career journey, to summarize, I found that women are just not represented at all. And for various reasons, it means that women kind of don't reach their peak in their career journey. And for some reason, they'll fall to kind of more, they just don't reach as much of a pinnacle as their male counterparts. And I feel that one of the main reasons behind that is that there's not enough role modeling across a range of careers, not just male-dominated careers. And I feel like women just aren't celebrated enough, and the achievements of women just aren't spoken about enough. So this motivated me to start Boss Bios. And like I said, it's an online collection of interviews celebrating achievements of women who are absolutely acing it across a range of careers. So up on there, I've got women from all sorts of different backgrounds, who are absolutely shining a light on what it means to be an absolute boss. So we ask them various questions about their career journey, what inspires them, what their actual day-to-day job looks like. And the hope is that women will flock onto Boss Bios and feel inspired, even if they're looking at someone who's not in their career path. They'll look at their journey and think, wow, I want to stay as motivated and as driven as this woman, and really achieve the amazing things that she's achieving. So I hope that's what it achieves ultimately.
And I mean, you've said a lot there that I'd like to unpack. And I studied engineering myself.
Did you?
Back as an undergraduate, it was aeronautical engineering combined with science. And
Oh, wow.
I remember back then it was an extremely male-dominated course. I can't really believe that it's changed much. Can I ask you though, and I think this is really, really important, because the word representation and words like equality are thrown around so much that for some people they begin to lose meaning. It's just like a catchphrase.
Absolutely.
So can you tell the people watching, I think it's really important, why does representation make such a crucial difference?
I think representation is really important to demonstrate to the younger generation that their goals are achievable, and what they aspire to do, they can really go on to do it and do it really, really well. So for me, for example, not just in my career outside of pageantry, but within pageantry as well, having role models who are like me has made such a huge difference. I would be lying if I didn't say that having Deanne and Jeanette as winners of Miss Universe Great Britain didn't play a part in what motivated me to enter the competition. I think just seeing someone that looks like you achieving what you want to achieve, and kind of being really well respected for it, it has so much power. So I think that's an example that people in the pageant industry might be able to understand a bit better than, for example, if I give an engineering example. So I definitely think seeing someone that looks like you and who has achieved what you really ultimately want to achieve has so much power behind it.
And absolutely. So in terms of Jeanette, I had Jeanette on the podcast. So Jeanette Akia,
Yes.
have you ever received blowback? And this is where being a woman is so different to being a man. So you talk about representation, and then from the other side, you'll get, well, if you do a pageant, you probably won't be taken seriously. And I know from interviewing, for example, lawyers who are competing in pageants, they've sometimes been told point blank by their partners that you shouldn't be doing this because it's not appropriate to dress like that, etc., which seems to highlight this underlying belief that you can either be taken seriously as a woman or you can be feminine, but you sure as hell can't be both. So have you ever received that sort of feedback directly or indirectly yourself?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think even aside from being a pageant girl, just being super feminine and very open about that, I think people automatically find it difficult to take you seriously, which is just so unfortunate, and it's something that we really need to get past, especially in this day and age. I think when you care about your appearance and you're interested in fashion and beauty, people just don't believe that you have the capacity to be interested and good at anything else, which is just absolutely ridiculous. I think not just women, but humans in general, we have the capacity and the power to be excellent at so many different things in one go. And we need to kind of get past the idea that you have to be kind of a one-track minded person. And I think what I've tried to do is get people to know me as a person before they know that I do pageants. I hope that in the future, I can move past that and I can lead with the fact that I do pageants. But for now, I really kind of want to get people to understand who I am at first. And then when they find out I'm a pageant girl, they think to themselves, oh, okay, so maybe the stereotype of what a beauty queen isn't what I had in mind at first. And I think so far that's worked. I've been asked this in pageant interviews in the past, like, what do your friends or like your course mates or colleagues think of you doing pageants? And I'll definitely say that absolutely all of them said they had a different perception of pageants until they met me, which I hope that means I'm doing my job right. But yeah, I think in the future, I really, really hope that we're in a place where you can be everything that you want to be, and it doesn't have to be kind of you're super girly and everything that you do is super girly, or you're more traditionally masculine and everything that you do has to be masculine.
I am the sort of person who loves to sort of look at grassroots, what would actually make the difference. So given that, I want to ask you, given the difficulties you struggled with, especially, being taken seriously as a young black female, can you highlight where you think that problem might stem from, and then what we can actually do about it? Because there's a lot of people saying we've got to do something, we've got to do something, we've got to do something. But in my mind, some solutions would really work, and some solutions are more sort of band-aid solutions, if that makes sense. Like, they're temporary solutions, but they're not addressing the underlying cause. So if I had to ask you, Noky, why do you think this is still a systemic problem in society? What would you hazard a guess at that?
I think honestly, I think misogyny has a really huge part to play in this. I think, especially for males, in history, they've kind of gotten by being good at what they do, and that's usually their job or their sport, for example, and that's it. But for women, we kind of have more opportunities to express ourselves, and I'm not saying that that's the way it should be. Everyone should be able to express themselves in every way that they want to, but traditionally, women have had more ways to express themselves. And unfortunately, only some of the ways that we express ourselves are taken seriously, and other aspects of who we are aren't taken so seriously. And I think it's time that we start to appreciate that you can really be yourself in so many different ways and still be taken seriously. And I think the way that I would solve this problem is the way that I'm trying to solve this problem, by increasing representation. So I think on my Boss Bios page, I've got a selection of women who aren't pageant girls and who are pageant girls. And I think it's important to show that the pageant girls are achieving just as much as the non-pageant girls, but they're still doing what they want to do outside of work at the same time and doing it really well. So I think showcasing how people can be just so different and cover a whole spectrum of different interests is really important. And I think one term that I try to use a lot in my workplace is bringing your whole self to work. And I think we should be bringing our whole selves to many situations, not just the workplace. And I think that's when we'll start to humanize each other and realize that we're all the same. We all have so many different interests and so many different motivations, and we should respect that that's how people are.
Let me just bring up Boss Bios again on Instagram. I brought it up just before.
Thank you.
So this is the feed right here. So as you can see in the description, if you're listening to the podcast, it's boss_bios. If someone wants to get involved with this, Noky, how can they do so?
So there's a link in the bio which takes you to a Google form, and you can fill in your Boss Bios straight away by following that link. So you don't have to faff about too much. It's just a few questions to answer in as much or little detail as you wish to. And I encourage women across a whole host of careers. You don't have to be in a super academic career. You don't have to be in a creative career exclusively. I've got a whole mix on there already. And you don't have to be really advanced in your career either. I've got people who are just recent graduates on there, and I'll be having graduates who are just finishing their educational career on there very soon. So don't be shy. Don't think I have to be super established to be up there. And also, if you are super established, we'd love to have you too.
Of course. So everyone is welcome.
Everyone.
So boss underscore bios. I want to backtrack just for a second, Noky, and you mentioned that you were super, super academic. And
Huge
when
nerd.
people say that, I tend to interpret it as I'm talking to someone who's got something going on upstairs. Have you ever struggled? And I've asked people like Emma Collingridge this as example, your current reigning queen, because she's also very academic, very intelligent. Do you ever struggle? You just used the phrase "bringing your whole self," right? Have you ever struggled bringing your whole self to pageantry? Because I know some girls who have. Like when I ask them, "Has your intelligence in pageantry been a blessing or a curse?" Almost always the answer is kind of, well, it's been both. So I'm just fascinated to ask you, as someone who's very academic, when you come into pageantry, that academic brain of yours, have you found it to be a blessing, a curse, or both?
I'd say I'd agree with the fact that it can be both. I think it can be a blessing because a lot of the time people can kind of tell. I think I remember in my very first pageant with
Mm.
Holly, she one of the first things she said to me is, "Knock, I can tell you're very switched on. I'm going to put you at the front of the opening number." And I was thinking, Holly,
Mm.
that's amazing, but I actually can't dance, so I can follow your instructions, but I can't say that I'll do anything with them on
Hmm.
stage. So in that
Yep.
sense, that's a bit of a blessing and a curse at the same time because I've actually forgotten opening number dances before, which is a bit embarrassing, and been at the front for them as well.
Oh, good.
But in another aspect, I'd say that it can be a curse in the sense that sometimes it can alienate people. I think,
Mm.
unfortunately, and this is something I really want pageant girls to kind of, I've always said this about pageant girls, we all have so much to offer. Um, and what you lack that someone else has, it doesn't take anything away from you, actually. I might be academic, but lack in an area that someone who isn't academic really excels at. So I think at times people can feel a bit alienated, or I don't want to say that people feel intimidated, but they can kind of like distance themselves
Mm.
a little bit because they think that, for example, I take myself too seriously because I'm academic. But if you ask my friends, I'm probably one of the silliest people that they know, despite being really academic and serious in that aspect of things. But I like to switch off as soon as I get out of work. Of course, I engage my brain as much as I can, but in terms of being like
Yeah.
really academic in my normal life, normal conversation, I do like to have kind of more light-hearted conversation outside of work as well.
Yeah.
So I think people
Yeah.
tend to assume that I want to be serious all the time, which is not true.
Yeah, God forbid anyone be serious all the time. That would be horrible. But I gotta
Exactly.
ask, so you're academic, you're self-identified as a nerd. Give me some insight into the nerdy side because a lot of people don't realize that I'm that way as well. So I love talking about nerdy things. So what are some of the nerdy pastimes or hobbies or just weird likes that you have?
Oh, so I'll tell you that my favorite subject at school was physics, which absolutely does not resonate with many people whatsoever. Maybe it resonates with you actually, but not with many people that I speak to
Hmm.
down the road. So um, I don't know if you ever had the TV program Brainiac Science Abuse streaming in Australia, but
No,
it was
I can't say that.
basically, oh, you have to look it up on YouTube. It's so good. So they do like lots of different challenges, like if we drop this like caravan from this height, how much damage will
Mm.
it have? Or if we put this in a microwave, how much damage will there be? And then there'd be there was one that I always remember is if you walk on custard, can you run across custard or will you sink? So they filled a massive swimming pool full of custard and
Hmm.
had someone run across it. And because of some crazy physics concept, they
Hmm.
managed to run across it. And I remember actually being in a lecture one time and they played this video from that
Oh,
Brainiac
wow.
Science Abuse episode
Right.
in the lecture. And basically, that's what I love watching on TV, stuff like that. So I don't think
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of people can relate to enjoying watching science TV programs on TV, but that's me.
No, I can definitely relate to it. I don't know if anyone else can, but I love watching the crazy experiments. There was one I saw on YouTube. They were trying to explain because if you put a grape in a microwave and there's something you have to
Mm-hmm.
do to it, you can actually create superheated plasma. And
Really?
they were trying to, yeah, it actually, so plasma is superheated gas.
Yeah.
And I was trying to watch it, trying to understand how it works, and I was fascinated by that. I'm surprised someone managed to make it across custard. I don't know if you've heard about is it non-Newtonian substances.
Yes,
So
non-uniform
basically,
fluids.
yeah,
Yeah.
so they're liquid, but if you hit them really hard, they
Yeah.
become solid. So it's gone super nerdy here. Is that kind of why they were able to walk across? They ran across custard, or is it something
Yeah.
completely different?
That's exactly it. So you have to really hit the sweet spot with the pressure that you apply to the fluid. And
Ah,
it's the
okay.
same reason, I'm kind of having flashbacks to my textbooks now, but it's the same reason why ants can walk across water and not sink all the time.
Yep.
So honestly, it's such an amazing concept. There's some fluids that if you apply enough force to them, they basically start acting like solids.
Yeah.
So yeah, super, super, super interesting.
I love it when you can actually apply schoolwork to the real world.
I know,
World, it's
it's
like, oh my God,
amazing.
this stuff is actually useful. Most of it's not, but some of it's really useful.
I know.
Um,
I get really upset when people say that trigonometry was really useful at school because actually I found quite a lot of use of trigonometry in my personal life.
okay, I can't. That one's an interest. How have you found a use for trigonometry? I mean, even if you're doing commercial banking, trig, really? Sine,
Yes,
cosine?
it's
How?
amazing. Like, so I wouldn't go so far as like sine, cosine, but for example, if
Yeah.
you're putting up like if you're doing DIY, putting up
Mm. Oh,
posters
yeah.
or a picture
Yeah.
frame, like, I think that's really useful. Getting everything nice and precise. Like, you can't beat a bit of maths.
I'm trying to now remember. I was going to try and give you an impromptu quiz on like trig equations,
Oh,
but
don't.
I can't remember it. Can you remember? Is it sine squared plus cos squared? What does that equal? Sine squared theta plus cos
Yeah,
squared
then
theta equals.
one of them equals one equals
It equals
zero, one
one.
equals
It
tan.
always,
Yeah.
yeah. And everyone has switched off and wonder what on earth are
We're
you
so
two
sorry,
talking
guys. Right,
about?
let's move on. Let's move on.
I'm not sorry at all. I've never got to discuss trigonometry in an interview before, so there's a first time for everything. So we're coming up to Miss Universe GB. How many days is it now?
So I leave on Wednesday, but the competition itself is in 6 days. So I can't believe I'm even
Wow.
saying that. It's come so quickly.
Yeah, I interviewed Gabriella. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, and every time she said how many days there were to go, she had to catch herself going, "I can't believe it's coming! I can't believe it's coming! Oh wow, I can't believe it's coming!"
Honestly.
So how are the nerves at this stage? You're obviously a seasoned pageant competitor. You've been doing this for 10 years. How are the nerves?
To be honest, I think I've come to the point now where I've realised that I don't actually have time to worry anymore.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
it's too late to worry now. So I just need to go into it and have a good time. I think every pageant that I've gone into, I've had, unfortunately, I'd say it was bad at the time, but now looking back on it, it was probably a good thing. I never actually had the self belief that I could do it, that I could get the crown. So I kind of always went into it like just having a good time, like really relaxed, playing it cool. Of course, I always worked super hard despite not having that self belief. But this time, I actually really do believe that I could do this. I've got a lot of self confidence, obviously, a lot of humility behind that as well, and a lot of respect for
Mhm.
how much of a prestigious competition it is. So I'm not taking for granted what I need to do to prepare whatsoever. But I do have a lot of self belief, which kind of does allow some nerves to creep in. But ultimately, I know that everything that I've done up until now is what's prepared me for this moment. And there's nothing more I can do. So I need to make sure I have a really good time and make it a worthwhile experience, it, no matter what the final result will be.
I know a lot of us struggle with self-belief. You said you struggled with that a lot previously and now not so
Yes.
much because you've developed it. Can I just ask you, where did that sense of self-belief come from? Did it come from the hard work?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also something that's again comes about from being a very nerdy person is that you have a lot of high expectations on yourself and you put a lot
Mm,
of pressure on yourself and you want to kind of always achieve the best that you can. And I think at times that means that you don't celebrate your successes and recognize just how
mhm,
much that how far you've come or just how much you've achieved. So I think in the past few years I've really kind of taken the time to give myself some grace and reflect on what's gone well and just acknowledge that what I am and what I've done is enough. And that if it doesn't go my way, it's not a personal attack on me. I've still got so many great
yes.
attributes about myself. And it's just the nature of competition. So yeah, I think I've got a lot of confidence in understanding the fact that life doesn't always go perfectly, but as long as you've dealt with things in the best way that you can, then you can only be happy with yourself.
and if you're lucky, come lucky enough, fortunate enough, in 1 week's time to have the crown placed on your head by one Emma Collingridge, what are your plans with the title?
My plans are basically just to take the work that I've been doing so far with my advocacy to the next level. I want boss bios to be something that is advertised and shared all across not just social media but regular media as well. So I really want to
Hmm.
get it out there and have a whole host of people involved across an even bigger span of career paths. It's amazing seeing when I have a new person featured on boss bios, the reach that they bring to the platform.
Yeah.
And I want that to kind of keep multiplying over and over and over with people outside of this country, with people outside of the pageant industry and outside my kind of network. So I really want that to grow. I've also recently become an ambassador for a charity called SmartWorks. So they provide
Hmm.
styling, clothing, and coaching for women who are looking to re-enter the workplace and got an interview coming up. So I'll be working as a BAME ambassador for them over the next few months. So I'll attend some of their events that they've got lined up and just be someone who is an example and kind of a motivation for people who are from a similar background to myself. And I really want to kind of shine the light on this amazing charity and get them as much support as they can. I've obviously supported them through my boss brunch, which I don't think I've spoken about yet, but I can do later on. I had women donate interview clothing for the charity, and I think it's just such a worthwhile cause and one that really transforms the lives of people across the whole country. So I really want to get more and more people engaged with that. And ultimately just create a community where people can really be themselves and really value what makes them great outside of work and also within work.
You've got Nadine Roberts here. I believe Nadine, you were Miss Grand Fiji, wasn't it? I
She
know Nadine's name. I
was.
can't remember. She's saying go Noky.
Thanks,
So
Nadine.
I was about to say bros bunch. Your
My
boss
boss brunch.
brunch.
It's
Getting
a
my
mouthful,
tongue
isn't
tied. Yeah, it's
it?
late at night here, not really. But tell us more about boss brunch.
Yes, so the Boss Brunch and Clothing Drive is an event that I hosted a couple of weeks ago now. So I basically had all sorts of women, pageant girls, non-pageant girls come together for a very, very yummy brunch. And they donated bras for a charity called Smalls for All, who are supported by Sisterhood, which is the Miss Universe Great Britain partner
Hmm.
charity. And a Sisterhood, they are a funding vehicle supporting a whole host of charities that are invested in women's issues. So they're a fantastic organisation. I really encourage you to go away and have a look at the work that they do across the world. And like I mentioned, we also collected donations of interview clothing to donate to SmartWorks Birmingham, which is local to me.
Hmm.
So it was a fantastic event, and it was my first ever charity event that I've hosted.
Oh,
I
wow.
kind of I took the plunge. Like I said, I've kind of taken things a lot further than I ever had before, and I took a risk. And I think anyone who has ever hosted an event, even if it wasn't a charity event, even a birthday party, they would have been intimidated by the prospect of people not turning up, for example, or not
Yeah.
raising enough money. And I think that's something that's held me back massively in the past. And this year, I just took the plunge and I thought, let's do it. And I was so fortunate to have incredible support from friends and family.
Is this a photo of it here? I just found it on your Instagram. Is this a
Yes,
photo of
that's
it?
the
There you
one.
go.
And
That's
that's
a
the
good
amazing
turnout.
group of women. Yeah, honestly, I was so grateful, so grateful. And it was on Father's Day as well, which I didn't realize when I set the date. And I felt
Oh.
so bad pulling everyone away from their dads. But I was so grateful that they turned up.
I mean, I got to say, I understand why people are a bit hesitant when it comes to running events in person, especially after COVID, because,
Honestly.
after COVID, it was so difficult to get everyone going again because so many people, I don't know how it was in the UK, but here in Australia, there are still people who are a bit afraid to go out,
Yeah.
and I can understand that. But that looks like it turned out really, really well. Is it a
Yeah.
sunny day? It can't be a sunny day. It's a UK. Was it a sunny day?
Do you know what? It was actually a good day. I thought it was going to rain,
Wow,
so
of
I was a bit
course.
worried about the rain, but it was actually
Yeah.
okay. It was a little bit cloudy, but I'll take it. It was warm. It was warm.
Wow. Okay. A little bit cloudy and warm in the UK is the equivalent of paradise anywhere else. So that looks like it went really, really well. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Uh, Noky, just before we move towards a close, we haven't talked about who you are outside of pageantry. So just briefly, in terms of hobbies,
Mhm.
or just if you have any free time, which most of you crazy women don't, you seem to hate free time. But what do you do to chill out?
Go on holiday. Every opportunity that
Oh,
I
okay.
get. Absolutely love going on holiday. So this year I've been to Rome, I've been to Amsterdam, and I've been to Paris. So that's
Oh,
been
wow.
incredible. And I'll actually be going to Spain the day after, well, actually 2 days after the Miss Universe Great Britain finals. So every opportunity that I have, I love to go away. Absolutely obsessed with it. And I put in my bio that I did a solo trip across Asia
Hmm.
and Australia in
Mm.
2019. So I squeezed it in just in time before the pandemic. So I was so happy that I managed to do that. So traveling is literally like my favorite thing to do in the world. My parents always say that if I'm not in the house, I've got a suitcase in my hand, going to somewhere new. So yeah, that's what I like to do outside of work and outside of pageants
So
as well.
you're okay with living out of a suitcase then, obviously.
I mean, I won't say that I'm okay with it, but I'll do it. I'll do it. And I won't complain too much.
It's not like you got much of a choice. I didn't know you'd been to Australia. Whereabouts in Australia did you visit?
I went to Cairns, so I've got a family that live there. So I'd planned my trip originally to be just across Southeast Asia. But then
Mm.
I thought, I'm here now. It's a perfect opportunity to go to Australia. And I think the flights from Bali to Cairns and back were only
Mm.
about £150. So I thought,
Yeah,
let me do this now before I go home and have to spend like £1,000 doing that trip. So
yeah.
it was honestly incredible. Such an amazing week.
What was your favorite part of Australia?
So I went to the Great Barrier Reef and snorkeled
Hmm.
there, which was amazing.
Hmm.
Such amazing views underwater, and I'd never actually snorkeled until that trip. So honestly, it was so much fun. Yeah, absolutely loved that, and also absolutely loved seeing a koala and a kangaroo in real life. So cute.
Okay. Well, those are some highlights. I love whenever any of UK girls come over, it's like it's actually hard to get rid of you because I don't know what it is you fall in love with, whether it's the food, the locals, the laid backness, or just the fact that we have sunlight down here.
Oh, I was gonna say,
It's yeah, yeah. Because actually, probably would have been around the same time that you came here. I had Emma Collingridge over. She came
yes, I
at just the
remember.
early 2020, and literally, if she had come, I think it was about 2 weeks later, she either wouldn't have been able to come because that's when Corona hit, or she would have been stuck
Gosh,
here, one or the
can
other.
you
So
imagine? I
you were
mean, I wouldn't complain if I was stuck in Australia.
exactly that's what she said. She said, "Well, oh God, stuck in a perfect world where it's sunny every day. Gee, that'd be so terrible." But yeah, I guess you guys both timed that perfectly. Okay,
No,
so when you're
absolutely.
not traveling for a pageant, you're traveling for pleasure. So
Yes,
travel, travel, travel.
I love
It
it.
sounds like a tough life, but someone's got to do it. Now, just before we move to the close, Nadine has said, "I am so happy for you, and you are going so amazing. You have come so far, my
Oh,
darling, and I cannot wait to watch you at your national finals. Sending love to you both." Thanks,
thank
Nadine.
you so
Thank
much,
you for
Nadine.
tuning in. Nadine, I don't know if you're actually in Australia anymore. I can't keep tabs on all you, but I know Miss Grand Australia is coming up in a couple of weeks. So if you're going to that, let me know because I'm considering going if I can. So I wanted to ask you, do you have anyone you want to give a shout out to for supporting you along your journey before we head to
Oh,
the
this
fight?
is so tough.
Don't forget anyone.
Oh my goodness. I will, before I start, I'll forget someone, and I'm so sorry if
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
But a huge thank you to all my friends and family, especially those of you that attended Boss Brunch. I
Hmm.
know that a lot of my family and friends aren't used to being around a pageantry, so it was amazing to have them there and a bit of a baptism of fire seeing what pageant girls are like. But no, they all had an amazing time. So thank you for getting stuck in. Thank you to my sister, especially because she always is the one that pushes me into my next pageant challenge. And she's really supportive and critically kind, or kindly critical, should I say. So that's really helpful. It's nice to have that honesty. Thank you to Grace, my coach, absolute genius and an amazing coach. She's made this experience really fantastic. My sponsor, Richard, of course, he's given me so many amazing opportunities through this competition and allowed me to progress further than I thought I would. And oh, there's someone I had on the tip of my tongue and I've just forgotten who they were.
Director, parents?
Yes, director made this competition amazing already. The other girls, it's been so fun to be on this journey with you and I can't wait for the next few days. My parents, of course, they're always super supportive, even if they don't get super stuck into everything in the pageant world. They're not super well known in the pageant world, but they're undoubtedly the most supportive parents I could have ever wished for. So absolutely amazing to have them on the journey. And I've remembered one, Amy Mizak, because she has been on the end of my text for months and months and months. Obviously, you know that she's had an amazing journey as a Miss Universe, Great Britain finalist over the past 3 years and kind of passed the baton on to me now. So I'm so grateful to have her support.
Isn't she enrolled? I don't know if that's right. Isn't she taking part in another pageant now? I think I saw somewhere. I can't remember.
She's doing Miss GB, so hopefully you can get her on for an interview in the lead up to that.
Oh, I love that accent. So many people can't understand the Scottish accent. I love it.
Oh, my parents can't.
I was going to say, because you mentioned the baptism of fire, I love watching that moment when normal people meet pageant people and just watching like this the brain stops working. They're like, what is wrong with this person? Oh my God, they're crazy. But normally by the end of the night, they're fully invested in it because I know exactly what you mean. So it's always fun also going to a pageant and finding the pageant partners. It's like a little group of men standing near the bar looking very, very awkward. I love watching them.
It's so cute.
Okay, so let us get to the final 10. Nadine has said I'll be there at MGI 2022. Oh, okay. All right. Sounds good. Final 10. Let's get to it. Good. Question 1. What is your favorite word?
Fantastic. I say it all the time. That's fantastic.
We all have our version of that. Amazing, perfect. Yours is fantastic. I thought it would be fabulous coming from the UK. That seems to be a popular choice.
Do you know what? I do write fabulous quite a lot at work. Fabulous.
Exactly. Well, there you go. Question 2. What is your least favorite word?
Oh, I don't know, actually. I bet you get like stuff like soggy or moist quite a lot. People don't tend to like those kind of words.
Everyone says moist. I want a different word. So.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I was thinking, I know that's probably the typical answer, but that's not mine.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't have a least favourite word. I need to think of one now. That's my homework after this.
Okay. I don't know why. That question has been stumping everyone like over the last week or so. They all get stuck on their least favorite word. I don't know why. It must be something in the weather. If you think of it before we get to the end, we'll cycle back to it, okay? But in the meantime, question 3 is, in life, what gets you excited or what turns you on?
New opportunities. Absolutely. I call myself a jack of all trades, master of none. I love to kind of get involved in new things, try something new. So new opportunities, adventure. That's it for me.
And what turns you off?
Oh, not being spontaneous. So probably the opposite of what gets me going. Like if people are not open to new opportunities, not open-minded, not adventurous, that's not my thing.
Question 5. What sound or noise do you love?
Oh, this is really interesting. Do you know what? Actually, I've discovered this literally just a few days ago. So I went away for work and I stayed in a hotel where when I walked into the room, they had a fireplace on the screen and it had like the crackling sounds. And I was out like a light and I was like, I'm doing that at home every night. That's amazing. So that's my new favourite sound.
It wasn't actually a real fire. It was a video of a fire with fire crackling sounds.
It was so realistic. I was like, I'm absolutely doing that again.
Okay. All right. Question 6. What sound or noise do you hate?
Oh, nails down a blackboard, chalk, any of those kind of grating, scratchy sounds. They literally go right through me. I feel like my teeth are going to fall out. Everything is, honestly, the worst. Can't stand it.
You feel like your teeth are going to fall out? I've not heard that one before.
Honestly, I almost feel like I'm feeling like the sensation on my teeth. Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, all right. Okay, yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I hate the dentist. So, like, respect all the dentists out there, but I hate dentists. That high pitched drill, and then when you feel it vibrating on your tooth, ugh, no,
Oh,
absolutely not. Okay, moving along before we're all traumatized. Question 7: if you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
invisibility, because you could do so much with it. You could listen on conversations. You could be in places you don't need to be. You could jump on flights and nobody would know that you're there. Absolutely everything. You could do anything with being invisible.
I always say the ones who pick invisibility are the ones you need to really keep an eye on because they're the ones that want to get up to mischief. Because you wouldn't
I'm
want to
so
be invisible for
nosy.
any other reason than you want to get away with stuff that you don't normally get away with.
What can I
So,
say?
all right, I guess it's kind of hard to keep an eye on someone who's invisible, but we can try. Question 8: what job or occupation other than your own would you most like to attempt?
Being an actress. So when I was younger, I used to be like the lead in every school play. Everyone hated me at school because I'd always get picked for the lead part. But I couldn't sing or dance. When it got to a certain age where the acting wasn't enough and you could sing or dance, and you had to sing or dance, that's when my acting career was over. So I would love to be an actress.
How bad is his singing?
Ask my friends who went to karaoke with me a few weeks ago. It's actually painful. It's so bad. I cannot hold a single note. It's terrible. You don't want to hear it. Don't ask me to sing.
If you had to pick, gun to your head, for talent section for a pageant, singing or dancing, which one would you pick?
Mm, it's got to be dancing. That's how bad the singing is. No matter how many opening numbers I'll mess up, I'll always choose to dance over singing. Always.
I'm really intrigued now to actually hear you singing because I'm wondering just how bad can it be? So this is not false modesty. It's
Oh
really that bad.
no, no, honestly, this is like I'm saving you with my honesty here. I'm saving you with my honesty, trust me.
Okay, so if any of the people who went and took Noky to karaoke have a clip of her singing, please send it to me because I would love to hear it.
Oh,
Moving along,
actually, just quickly, I
yes.
actually did karaoke after Miss Universe Great Britain one night with Chloe and Amy, and we all have
Mm.
the same like favorite karaoke song, which is American Boy by Estelle and Kanye West. So they might be able to find that for you. But I give permission for them to show you, but not online.
Yeah, no, well, no. Amy sent me some very weird clips of Chloe for her birthday thing, and I keep asking Chloe, like, I still to this, she was sitting on a toilet, pounding her fists on the ground to Scotland the Brave. To this day,
Oh
I
yeah,
still
I've
don't
seen that.
quite understand why. She's explained it to me, and I still don't understand it. But gotta love
What a
Chloe.
girl.
Yeah. Moving, I hope she's doing well in Dubai, by the way. I think she's just passed
Oh,
her flight exams for Emirates.
so
So I hope
proud
she's
of
doing
her.
well.
So proud of her.
Yeah, I'm happy for her as well. Question 9. What job would you definitely not like to attempt? Professional singer probably comes to mind, but aside from that,
um, mm, probably this is really boring and a really easy answer, but probably um like a bin disposal person. I cannot deal. I would rather be like cleaning toilets all day than taking bins out. Like the smell literally kills me inside. So I'll definitely not do that.
toilets don't smell great either, Noggy. I gotta say, I don't know what toilets you've been around, but I've seen some toilets. It'd be like a 50-50 toss-up.
But you know what, right? This the kind of satisfaction you get from like cleaning a bathroom, I think that makes it worthwhile. But you don't get
Mm,
satisfaction from taking a bin out. It still smells even when you've emptied it. So yeah, for me, I'd rather
okay,
clean a toilet.
granted, but there's no such thing as a blocked rubbish bin. Whereas if you've seen a blocked toilet, anyway, let's move on before we gross everyone out.
Right,
We can debate
nerviness and
this later.
toilet talk. This is
Okay.
not. This has not been. We've not chosen the right topic, so have we?
Now, before I get to the final question, have you thought of a least favorite word?
I haven't. I'm so sorry. I haven't. I'm gonna be
Why is
thinking
that
about this.
stumping everyone?
Do you
Okay,
know what?
you,
Pageant's
you,
about to
can,
out the window. I'm gonna be thinking of my least favorite word for the next week.
you can put it. You can put it under the comment when you think of one. All right, let's go to the final one. So, question 10: if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I'm proud of you. that's it. I'm proud of you, because I think my aspiration is to always make the people that are close to me proud. And I hope that's what I'm doing at the moment.
Very nice. Now, just before I let you go, I just remember this. I saw on your Instagram story, I think it was you and your sister. You were driving back from getting your gown, and you said your favorite song for, no, Ubering. And you said the favorite song for evening, I think it was Evening Gown, came on. So I was going to ask, what was the song?
No, so the song that we'll be walking to in our evening while I came on in the Uber, I can't
Oh,
tell you,
right.
which is why it was in a boomerang.
Okay.
I'm sure it's a surprise, but it just felt crazy that that song came on just after I'd been practicing my evening wear walk. And then I went into a shop and the swimwear song came on, and I just thought, this is all the right positive energy that I need to get myself engaged with the prep.
It's a sign. It's a sign, Noky. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, that's about it. Thank you so
Oh, so
much for
quick.
coming on. It's been a blast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it, and it's just gone so quickly, but honestly, it was an amazing morning. Thank you.
We've been on for almost an hour.
I know, I can't believe it. Talking too
We
much.
still have, we still haven't got your least favorite word, and we still haven't finished our argument about toilets. So, there's maybe a part two coming down
But yeah,
the
let's
line
do
somewhere.
it.
But as I said, I'll keep you on the line for just a second, Noky, whilst I hang up with the audience. Big
Bye,
thanks to
everyone.
everyone for watching, whether it's live or on the replay, and we will speak to you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Sorority Access is now open. So if you'd like to join an amazing group of women and learn how to be the most powerful, confident, and impactful queen possible, head to thepageantsorority.com. I'll see you there, and see you in the next video.